It's a digital nomad's life to travel the world and work from wherever you are. But what does this mean for taxes? Taxes can be confusing, especially when you're not sure if you need to file them anywhere in particular. In this article, we'll discuss digital nomad tax residency, how digital nomads should pay their taxes, and more. What is a digital nomad? Digital nomads are people who work from home or while traveling. They may not have a traditional residency, and digital nomad taxes can be confusing for digital nomads because they might come into contact with multiple tax jurisdictions if they're working in more than one place at the same time. How does digital nomad taxation differ from traditional taxation? Digital nomads usually don't have a digital nomad tax residency, so long as they don't stay in any one country for more than 6 months out of the calendar year. This means digital nomads are taxed in the country of origin on their worldwide income. It's up to digital natives to make sure they're paying taxes where appropriate, which can be complicated depending on where you live and work because countries may not view digital nomads as digital nomad tax residents. The taxes digital nomads need to pay depend on where they live and work, so digital natives should consult the laws of their country, as well as US taxation law for Americans or other countries' taxation law for non-Americans. This is because digital nomad taxation can be different from what traditional workers are used to. How to get started with taxes as a digital nomad. This will pretty much depend on how long you intend to stay in each country. For example, you may decide to move to Thailand to work as a digital nomad. If you are there for more than 6 months, then you will become tax resident there. However, this is where it starts becoming a bit of a gray area as, by rights, you're not really supposed to be earning while in Thailand, for example, on a tourist or retirement visa. There is also the issue of if you are working and earning online, are you really earning in Thailand? In general, you should be okay, just don't go telling too many people that you're working online while located there. There are currently theories floating around out there that Thailand will modify their rules about digital nomads in order to encourage them to relocate there. We'll have to wait and see how this pans out as the goalposts seem to be constantly moving on this issue. I'd suggest you search on forums or Facebook groups for expats who are already living in your intended destination and run some questions past them in regards taxes and what issues they have encountered. You'll generally find that most of them will be more than willing to help out in answering your questions. What are the tax implications of being a digital nomad? The digital nomad tax is an interesting one, as you may or may not be liable to pay any taxes, and it all depends on your circumstances. For example, if I were living in Thailand for a year, then theoretically the Thai government would consider me a resident of that country and they could charge me income tax from my digital work there, but they don't. The digital nomad tax is complicated and varies from country to country, so if you're considering taking on the digital nomadic lifestyle, then I would suggest doing some research into what this actually means for your particular situation. A good place to start might be with a Google search or asking someone in the know about how it works in your intended destination. Often digital nomads will use a technique called the double Irish with a Dutch sandwich to legally avoid any tax liability, but it's not for everyone and you should be aware of what this means before following in their footsteps. Tax tips for the digital nomad. Some digital nomads are wondering whether or not they need to file taxes for their digital work with the IRS. The short answer is yes, but digital nomads have some unique tax concerns that might be worth considering before making a decision about this topic. The United States has what's called tax residency rules which determine how digital nomads are taxed. The digital nomad tax is the person's country of residence, with a few exceptions for digital work income, that doesn't intersect with their residency. The digital freelance economy makes it difficult to determine what countries have digital work taxes and how they're applied. One way that digital workers can avoid taxation on digital work is to not pay digital work taxes. United States citizens will need to file with the IRS for digital nomad taxation even if they don't have any other connection to the United States and are living abroad, unless it's a short digital nomad tax holiday. Digital workers may be able to increase their income by changing their country of digital work from the United States to a different digital nomad tax-friendly countries. Digital workers should keep track of their digital income and digital expenses, like paying for online services. This will help determine if they are making taxable money or not. What digital nomads need to know about digital nomad tax residency. Digital natives are taxed on their worldwide income, which means they must pay taxes in the country of origin for that particular year and any other countries where they do business if appropriate, unless a double taxation treaty is applicable. This can be tricky because digital nomad taxes are not always straightforward, and digital nomads are likely to be considered non-resident in 2 or more countries. Here are 4 common digital nomad tax scenarios. Non-residents of the country where they pay taxes. If you're a digital nomad who is considered non-resident for purposes of your home country's income tax laws, you'll have to pay taxes in the country where you work. Resident digital nomad. These digital nomads are typically taxed on their worldwide income at home and then for any other countries that they do business in, unless a double taxation treaty applies. So if your digital nomad self is considered resident for tax purposes in your home country, you'll have to pay digital nomad taxes in the country where you work. Resident digital nomads. Digital nomad taxes for these digital natives are straightforward. They'll have to pay digital nomad tax to their home country, and then they may be subject to taxation in the country where they work if it is considered a high-income jurisdiction. Non-resident digital nomads. If you're a digital nomad who is considered non-resident for digital nomad tax purposes of the country where you live, and are not a resident in any other countries, then digital nomads taxes will depend on your work situation.